All right, y'all are rocking long division. Let's keep on practicing. The more you practice, the better you get, right? Practice makes perfect. All right, as I'm solving these, I want you to be writing these problems in your journal along with me, okay? All right, remember the steps. Divide, multiply, subtract, and bring it down. So I'm first going to divide 4. How many times does 4 go into 1? Well, 1 is less than 4. One group of 4 is 4, so that's already too much. So it goes in there 0 times. Divide, multiply. So 0 times 4 is 0. Subtract, 1 minus 0 is 1. Subtract and bring it down. Okay, then you start over. Divide, multiply, subtract, and bring it down. So how many times does 4 go into 12? 4 goes into 12. What's on top of the line? 3. So it goes into there 3 times. Divide, multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract and bring it down. There's nothing more to bring down. So that means I have 0 remainders. So I'm going to multiply the two smaller numbers, 4 times 3, to check my work. 4 times 3 is 12. Is that what my dividend is? Yes. All right. 28 divided by 6. So 28 is our dividend. It's in our den. 6 is our divisor. We're solving for our quotient. First, you divide. Step 1, divide. How many times does 6 go into 2? Well, one group of 6 is 6, and that's already too much. 2 is less than 6, so it goes in there 0 times. Divide, multiply. 0 times 6 is 0. Divide, multiply, subtract. 2 minus 0, I'm still left with 2. Subtract and bring it down. So I start over again with step 1 to divide. How many times does 6 go into 28? Here's my 6's. How many times does 6 go into 28? Well, 30 is too much, right? So go back one. What's on top? 4. Goes in there 4 times. 6 times 4 is 24. 28 minus 24, subtract, is 4. And bring it down. There is no more to bring down, so 4 is our answer. So remainder of 4. Now remember, your remainder can never be more than your divisor, or that means that 6 could have went into our number another time, but we're okay. All right, so to check my work, I'm going to do 4 times 6. 4 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Add in my remainder of 4, which is 28. Is that my dividend? Check. Okay, remember, you're following along your math journal, please. All right, step 1 is to divide. How many times do 5 go into 6? Well, one group of 5 is 5. Two groups of 5 is 10, so that's too much. So 5 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. Divide, multiply, subtract. 6 minus 5 is 1. Subtract and bring it down. How many times does 5 go into 18? So we're dividing. How many times does 5 go into 18? 20 is too much, so we got to go backwards one. What's on top of the line? 3. So 3 goes on top of our line, on top of our problem. Divide, multiply. So 3, the number we just wrote, times 5 is 15. Divide, multiply, subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. And bring it down. No more to bring down, so that means 3 is our remainder. So remainder of 3. So I'm going to check it. I'm going to do 13 times 5, then add in my remainder. So 13 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Regrouped as if you were adding. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 more is 6. Add our remaining 3. 5 and 3 make 8. 6 and nothing makes 6. Is that equal to our dividend? Check. How many times does 4 go into 8? Divide. One group of 4 is 4. Two groups of 4 is 8. So it goes in there twice. 4 can go into 8 twice. Two groups of 4. Divide, multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract. 8 times 8 is 0. And bring it down. How many times does 4 go into 8? I know this mental math. 4 goes into 8 twice. divide, multiply. So 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract, 8 minus 8 is 0. And bring it down. There's nothing more to bring down, so which means 0 is our remainder. So I'm going to take my two lower numbers, 22 times 4, and hopefully it equals 88. Up and over, 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. Is that our dividend? Check. Sure is. All right. 60 divided by 9. So our dividend is 60 divided by our divisor, 9, and we're going to solve for the quotient. How many times does 9 go into 6? Well, 9 is greater than 6, so I can't divide 6 into 9 groups. So it goes in there 0 times. 0 times 9 is 0, because anything times 0 is 0. Divide, multiply, subtract. 6 minus 0 is 6. Subtract and bring it down. So I asked myself, how many times does 9 go into 60? Well, here's my 9s. How many times does it go in 60? Well, 63 is too much, so I got to go backwards one. What's on top of the line? 6. So 6 goes on top of the line. So 6 times 9, 6 times 9 was 54. 6 times 9 is 54. And subtract. The 6 becomes a 5. This becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. So that is our remainder of 6. So 6 times 9 is 54 plus the remaining 6. That makes a 10. That's 6. Is that our dividend? Check. How many times does 7 go into 35? So 35 divided by 7. Start step 1, divide. How many times does 7 go into 3? Well, 3 is less, so it can't go in there at all. I can't divide 3 7 ways. That's crazy. So divide, multiply. 0 times 7 is 0, because anything times 0 is 0. Divide, multiply, subtract. 3 minus 0 is still 3. Subtract and bring it down. So how many times does 7 go into 35? Here's my 7. How many times does it go into 35? Exactly. Up what's on top of the line? 5. Since on top of the line, it goes on top of the line here. 5. 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract. And there's nothing more to bring down. So I have a remainder of 0. So 5 times 7 is 35. Is that our dividend? Check. Oh, look, I already did this one. Oops, I made a mistake. So we can skip this one because here it was right here. All right, here we go. How many times does 3 go into 95? So 95 divided by 3. So step 1 is to divide. How many times does 3 go into 9? How many times does 3 go into 9? What's on top of the line? 3. So 3 goes into 9 3 times. Divide, multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract, well, 9 minus 9 is 0. Subtract and bring it down. So how many times does 3 go into 5? Well, I know that. That's 1 time, because 2 3s is 6. That's too much. So it goes in there 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract and bring it down. There's nothing more to bring down. So that all the way to my quotient. My remainder is 2. So I'm going to do my 31 times 3. 31 times 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Add in my remaining 2, and that's 95. Is that my dividend? Yes. Check. All right, you guys are going to do a quizzes today to practice your facts. Use your dots in a box, and remember the 4 steps. Divide, multiply, subtract, and bring it down. You got this.